Hello, hello, hello. Hi everyone. I see that 23 is here. Lyra, Emotional Pumpkin, hello. Willow, Sadie, and Jill, hi, hi, hi. Hot Pockets. No forbidden water, no kitty. Alas, I cannot stay. Oh! Got to watch the F1 Cali. Oh, you guys have more patience than I do. I prefer to watch the, the condensed version of these things. Or even better, to watch the Drive to Survive show. I need a kitty that can work as a weighted blanket. Lion or a tiger will do. Oh my gosh, that's a tall order. I hope you guys can hear and see. I think the seeing part should be okay, but the hearing part is perhaps the most unsure. And yeah, I'm gonna have to figure something out. I'm trying a different setup, and I'm trying out a new arm for my phone, and it's not long enough for me to attach it to the other table. So if I bump into my table, the table that you see, the camera is gonna wobble a bit. And I'm sorry about that. I'll try to think of a way to work around that. So far, I haven't really figured it out. Like this arm is much nicer and perhaps a bit easier to use, and it has better control, but it's just a bit too short. Anyway, I'll figure something out. But yeah, apologies if things wobble a bit. I'll try very, very hard not to bump into stuff, but I also know myself. So we'll see. Yep, here and see. Awesome! Yay! I'm gonna grab a quick band-aid thumb because it keeps cracking and splitting open, and it is quite annoying and painful. So this kind of helps. So for today, what I've set up is I've prepared these sheets on cellulose paper. This is the Canson Watercolor. What's the name of it? XL. Yeah. And yeah, so I've set up the sheets with all the colors of the Aquafine range, and then a column for half pans, a column for tube paint. So there's room to swatch both. I don't have, of course, I don't have every single one, but I figured I could fill in the ones that I do have, and that could be something, right? I'll do that, and after, if I look at the swatches and realize there's not really much to talk about, well, I'll reconsider, but to be able to tell that, I have to do the swatches first, so. I also might need a few extra things as I go, but I guess I'll just get up and grab them at that time, if that happens. Auntie Patience, hello! That's just you. There's no insect on the swatch sheet. I don't know where it would be. Oh, there were some eraser bits, but it's not the season for insects here. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, I think it was just you. um, I mean, it happens in the summer more. At this time of year, it's really more rare, but I mean, it happens. Like this is a basement, so we always get a disproportionate number of spiders. I used to be afraid of spiders, but nowadays it's just like eh. I mean, any spider that comes out of nowhere will surprise someone. Like if you don't expect it and something moves in your field of vision, it's surprising. But I don't. I'm able to like put them in a container and toss them outside now. I need to do something about here. He's good. See? Yeah. All right. That's settled. So what have you guys been up to this weekend so far? Hope it's been going, you know, fairly okay. Try and I don't know exactly where to start or how to go about this, but oh, qu'est-ce qu'elle fait, la merdeuse? Escuti. Tu chiales, quelle surprise! Oh, qui aurait pensé que le petit chat il chiale? Oh. Hey, Bibi. Hey, mademoiselle. Oui, t'as peu. Laisse-moi tasser le stuff. There you go. There you go. Not too much on my end, but I'm quasi celebrating because the countdown to my fun employment has begun. Ooh! What's the countdown like? Work has kicked me in the chin. Oof. Aw, that's a bummer, Lyra. Been putting watercolor ground on practice paper to see if it works, and if it does, I'll see if it's cheaper to buy the medium than to buy good paper. I mean, it will work, but it's up to you to figure out if you prefer the texture of the watercolor ground instead of paper. Qu'est-ce que tu merdes, toi? Babysitting the chickens? Oui, tête personne. Oui. Caturday! Kind of long because I gave them lots of notice, but now no one will expect me to. Is it like proper retiring, or is it just leaving that place to get to another? She's purring. She's quite subdued when she's purring, but she's purring. Hey, mademoiselle. Oui. Pas important. Neither leaving that place for a sabbatical. Oh, that's perfect. Cool. I'm glad then. How long do you still have to put up with it? Is it a matter of days, weeks, months? She's hitting me in the face with her tail. Because of course. Hmm? Hey, mademoiselle? Oui. Popotin. Tap, 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 tap le popotin. There's two kinds of cat purring, soft, delicate, and elegant, or industrial engine. No middle ground. I agree. Wait. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, dirty, unidentifiable squeaks. That's the proper reaction to any cat. Oh, c'est joué. Okay, sorry about that. Pourquoi tu fais tout le temps tout tomber, espèce de chat? Hmm. It's so cool they sell 2 pounds. Yes, seriously. I agree. This is my creative year. Well, I mean, why the upside down smiley face? I think that's great, isn't it? All right, I'm just getting all the out. There's a few that I have like spares, so I will put those aside. But if you see me put anything aside, that's why. Oh, why? The cat Scout is playing on the drawing table with one of her toys. Confession, I don't really understand the appropriate usage of the upside down smiley face. Alright, fair enough. It is, I just don't know what kicked it out. But hey, at least I'm happy with that. Yeah, absolutely. That one's also double. So yeah, she's playing on the drawing table, but it's a table that's angled. So there's the factor, like the speed to which she throws her toys down the table is ridiculous. And then she just like waits there for us to bring back the toy, and it's like, kitty. All right. I'm just assessing. So I was reading a little bit on these, and there's not a lot of information aside from what you can find on the Deliverani website. Not really a surprise, but... And then I was reading Kimberly Crick's post on these, which dates back a few years, but she mentions that there's been a sort of update in their pigment lineup in 2018 or 2020, and yeah, some colors. Okay, the cat just like ran out, like her butt was on fire. Oh, she's having the zoomies. So yeah, they had to switch out some of the colors around because of the discontinuation of some pigments, like the PY153. And then I immediately remembered that the pan that I have was PY153, so I looked at the tube, and it's also PY153. So I think these are probably about 5 years old. I don't mind it, but I mean, they've been sitting in a store for a really long time. And yeah, on my little swatch paper that I prepared, I printed out the current swatch PDF of the Aquafine website, and I cut them up, and instead of, you know, transcribing all the info, I just pasted these down. But I will try to remember to compare the info here to the info I have on my tubes and pans to see if it's the same variant of the color. Does that make sense? And yeah, I got the Quin Magenta. It's in a pan form. I'll refrain from making comments. Why? Am I forgetting something about the last stream? Alright, so I'm just gonna clear this out. I don't know where to put all of this, to be honest. I'm prepared, but not that prepared, I guess. This one I know I'm gonna need quite early on. Oops. Okay. There you go. So the first yellow on here that I know is the lemon yellow. I poured some of it in a pan, so that's the same thing. It's tube paint in a pan, so I don't have both, but I can at least fill in the the tube portion of the I had no intention to, but I couldn't resist getting yet more Roman Schmal pans during Jackson's recent watercolor sale. I'm almost disappointed in myself, but I'm taking solace in new paint. That's something that is very a very common sentiment. A watercolorist, hello. Also, hi, Agent XP. Hello, hello. I'm trying to remove the cat hair. All right. For some reason, I always forget magenta is its own color, and we all go on a funny tangent as how red shouldn't be a primary color. Yeah. There's a bit of a language component to this whole thing too, in the sense that any color can be a primary color in a triad that you decide to use for any kind of painting, right? If you decide to use orange, green, and a blue as sole colors for your painting, that's your triad, right? Your primary triad for the painting. But we also use primary for sort of the quintessential trio of color. And in that sense, there's a clear choice to make when it comes to paints being... That's what I'm looking for. Versatile. Yeah. You can use red, yellow, and blue as a primary triad, but it's gonna be a bit limited, right? Hey, Joe! Hello! Good evening to all the fellow art supply hoarders. Hey! Well, hello to you too. Right, cadmium yellow hue. This one, tube. I need to check what I had last week for the tube paints, because I think that one is the CAD. Don't have enough space for it. Alright, so PY 155, that's the same info I have on here. Please don't explode. Nami Sao, hello. Hi. Oops. I just want to brush so I can pre-wet the areas I'm about to paint. So that's tube as well. There's so much cat hair. Oh my gosh. Yeah, perhaps I should not pet the cats before streaming on the table where I'm gonna paint, because it is remarkable how much cat hairs I'm stuck with now. All of you, which one is worse, exploding paint or separated paint? Oh. Well, I mean, if I can answer, I would say that for me, the worst is exploding paint. I can sort of work with separated paint, but with exploded paints, though, what can you do? Okay, cadmium yellow deep hue. I don't think this one is part of the collection. Keep on this one, then gamboge hue. I know this one I have. No. Yes, no. So this is Indian. Oh, I could do that. I could put them on here. This one. Cad orange hue. So here. Vermilion, I'm pretty sure not as a pan, but tube. Cad red hue. Also tube. What else? Indian yellow. Is that it? Yeah, okay. So it's this one, not the gamboge hue. It's the Indian yellow hue that they replaced by a single pigment other color. I don't know why. I assumed it was the gamboge one. I'm very confused. Yeah, 643. Here is PY65. While on the pan it says PY153, and on the tube it says also PY153. Okay. You can't escape cat hair. I know, I know. Exploding paint for me, I have a white disc. I hope you have a good protector on your disc. Oh my gosh. I felt to consider the possibility of exploding paint that separated the pigment and binder. Yuri! Hello! I hope you're doing well. I guess the worst is a leaking paint tube. A sneaky. Oh, yeah. You know how sometimes they will leak only the binder? So all your tubes kind of get stuck together. That's not very pleasant as an experience either. Gonna unbox a Jackson's order along with the stream. I took advantage of the sale and got a few Holbein colors and a core 6 earth set. Ooh! Oh, it's a very beautiful set, the earth set. I managed to get this stream. I was weaving all day at a friend's house and I just got home and made dinner. Haven't even gone to the stables today. Ooh, it's so weird not to see greedy. Yeah. Is that something that happened often? Or do you get to visit her every day? Hey, welcome back, Sadie. Yes, and the binder leaks further, missing yeah. Just a sticky mess. I've had it happened with M. Graham gouache. And it was not fun. And then you have to figure out which of the tubes is the culprit. And these paints must have sat there for so long. It happens mostly with all the Talents tube to me. Oh, really? So, Rembrandt or Van Gogh? I really like this orange, I gotta say. It is P071. It is a very bright, transparent, sort of warm orange that I think is a bit underestimated. You don't find it in a lot of sets, in a lot of colors, or you know, when you have mixes. I've seen mixes that would use P073, which is a different orange. But I kind of prefer the glow of this one. I feel like this one kind of just jumps out of the page. I visit her every day for the sake of my mental health. It feels so much better if I leave the house once a day and give her a hug. Today was a fun day though, just ran out of time. Well, that's good then. That's really good. Sorry for today. Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Weaving sounds like a lot of fun. The gouache. I have many tubes since my art school days. We used to do photorealistic illustrations. Ooh. I'm so bummed that we don't really have the can I say the means perhaps to teach and learn all the more traditional ways of art. I was looking at a Drew Struzan art book earlier, and it made me really bummed out that you know, like I want to know how he painted, and I can't. I still much prefer the Schminke P071. Fair, but I mean, it's a decent orange. Like that's completely usable. I feel like it's a good sort of textbook orange color. Tube looks like a slightly different color. I don't know if it's because it's wet versus dry. It is drying, and yeah, I agree that they look different, but that's why I wanted to do this comparison chart to the extent that I can, because we saw it first with the ultramarine pink, how the tube was so completely different from the pan, and then I was like, oh, that's unusual. And yeah, it made me want to put together this little comparison sheet. So it's a possibility that it's not quite the same formula. The pans are extruded paint, so it's basically paint that you make the formula in a way that it will dry completely smooth, but as a little cake. Well, as a long, very long cake actually, and then you cut it into chunks to put into pans. So in that sense, it's not exactly the same formula as the tube. And I usually it doesn't really make much of a difference. But here there's like a noticeable difference between some tubes and some pans, and I'm very curious to see. So yeah, the Indian yellow seems to be one of those that has a minor difference between the two versions of the color, even if it's said to be the same pigment. And that's something that I need to amend too, because it's not the pigment that is written on my chart. It was especially with friends. What were you weaving? Is it for a specific project or just for the fun of it? The orange is perfect for tangerines. I agree. It is a very tangerine orange, like the fruit color. I like PO71, but that pink undertone on the PO73. See, that's something that I find a bit weird with the PO73. I feel like it makes it less versatile as a color. I haven't found a way to use it where I can make the best of the undertone. I'm kind of just puzzled with it. We used to do cars and motorcycle with gouache. Animal with watercolored pencil and portrait with oh wow. Really? Cars and motorcycle with gouache? Huh. You would have thought that, well, I mean, there's also a matter of the equipment, but I kind of feel like they would have gone for more like airbrush for that. Or acrylic. Oh. I see binder. The binder. Just for fun, we were doing band weaving, one of the weaving types that were used in the era that we reenact, so we can use it for that as well. Is it the one that makes like a, it's good for like belt or like straps technically? I've always been very fascinated with weaving. I feel like there's something that in the gestures of it is sort of really hypnotizing. It is so cool. See, you paint with intention, and that's why your statement makes sense, but I'm just at the stage of playing with paints, really. I just like looking at it. That said, I think the new... Yes, Carl uses PO73 and PW6, and it's so pretty. Yep. Yep. Oh, no, fair. I mean, there's not any good or bad way to paint. Like, there's some colors that people will... show a very strong bias towards, like, you know, people who are really, really partial to genuine quinacridone gold, for example, and other people who are like, well, I don't care, give me one of any of the hues, it's fine. And yeah, it's just a matter of what you like and what you use. But I agree, just painting swatches and looking at paint dry is actually a lot of fun. So this one is vermilion hue. It is PR255, which is technically a really nice color. Really nothing alarming about this. Like, it's not one of those PR pigments that you feel is not light fast or you feel is, you know, cheaper. It's a very nice pigment. And same for this one. That's cadmium red hue, and it is PR242. Again, a sort of reliable pigment. Ow. It absolutely is hypnotizing. You blink one eye and suddenly you've weaved all day. I feel like it's a really interesting art form where you create something and you can really sort of get lost into the movement of it, and I feel like it's demanding enough on your brain that it helps you focus. Like it's a proper level of needing to pay attention so that you don't feel like you're not busy enough. That makes sense? Ooh, I love swatching. I mean, if I find someone who uses watercolor at some point that tells me that they don't enjoy just swatching colors, that's a big red flag. I mean, you don't have to do like a bajillion swatches, but it should always be a fun part of it to just grab a piece of paper and do a juicy blob of paint on it and to look at the color. Like, I feel like if you don't have that enjoyment of it, it's not gonna be a fun medium for you to use. It's a bit all about that happy accident on the paper. I feel like this one is quite similar to the previous color, just a bit more pink in the undertone, possibly. But they're quite similar here. So that's the first sort of sheet. Had 8 colors. It's a bit hard to compare because there's very few of these that I had both the the pans and the tube, but I'm not mad at the tubes at all. I feel like perhaps the pans are gonna come in a bit lackluster. I wonder if what makes them more solid, like cake form, is perhaps the fact that they add something in there, which would also explain the difference in color, but we need more data. It is basically a sterile method. Anyone can really do it. You trace the subject broken down in something like a posterized Photoshop filter separating color areas. Then color match. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. So you kind of need a reference, but you always need a reference. I mean, it's very hard to do realism without references. Exactly. I can't understand people that don't like phthalo colors. Who can dislike the most gorgeous colors? Are we allowed to be annoyed at them? Phthalos are difficult to control and they stain, but they are also cheap. They kind of provide the experience that most people seek out of watercolor, which is a very transparent color that you can layer. So in that aspect, I feel like there's really something to that. But also, they're perhaps not the colors you would be, or perhaps that you should not necessarily use like pure, because they're not very natural looking, basically. I understand, I'm just kidding. You know that my opinion is subjective. I know how saying like the only triad is cyan, magenta, yellow. I wonder how light fast PY 155 is. I think it's fairly decent. Just looked it up and it seems somewhere between good and excellent. Hold on, I'll check. There's a rating on the color, so I can check that too. Oh, their transparent, their permanence chart is funny. So they rate it as 3 stars, and 3 stars on the little chart is normally permanent. It's the first time I see that, and I think that's hilarious. Normally permanent. Just you know, your normal permanence. 4 stars is permanent. Then you have normally permanent, and moderately permanent, and then fugitive. This is so funny. Normally permanent. All right, let's dispatch the colors. What's this one? Rose Madder Hue. Right. So that's the layout for this one. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but nothing for the alizarin crimson hue. Then tube for the rose madder hue. Pan for permanent rose. Pan for peach pink, which used to be portrait pink. Whatever. Quinacridone magenta. Pan also. Then both for purple lake, ultramarine pink, and ultramarine violet. And then tube for cobalt violet and permanent mauve. It was always based on a reference. We used car and motorcycle brochures because the photos were really good. That was before the internet. By the way, I mean, it technically existed, but nobody had it. Yeah, I know what you mean. I remember those days too. Yeah, normally permanent. Permanent-ish. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Normally permanent implies the existence of weirdly impermanent, as if sometimes it fades and sometimes it's beyond permanent and keep shifting. I hope that's that. If we don't, then that would be perhaps fugitive. Ish needs to be on more light fastness labeling schemes. For humans, normally permanent means about 80 years. Can we expect that from these paints too? Sorry. Oh, that's so funny. You can tell that these have been sitting for a while. Permanent. That's a really pretty mix. I haven't seen that mix often. It is PR83, which is not the most light fast of color, but this is still rated as normally transparent, normally permanent, so. But then it's also mixed with PR122, and I feel like the combo of having the magenta in there with the more reddish color makes for something that is kind of a bit classy. Like it's not a vibrant, hit you in the face kind of pink. It's more classic. It's a bit more muted, but it still is very pink, and it's not as flat as you often get, like for an alizarin crimson hue kind of color. More like one day the paint just turns fugitive, and the next day it's as bright as the day it was painted. So it's basically Schrodinger's paint. It's the same with all the colors. If you do not swatch it, you cannot be familiar. Yeah, you have to work with the colors to be able to work with the colors, basically. But still, it's kind of funny. The normally permanent. I imagine the paint makers being like, "Is it permanent? I don't know, maybe. Is it permanent? Yeah, it should be okay." Perhaps it's their way of saying, like, in reply to the is it permanent questions, their way of saying, I mean, who are you? Turner? Van Gogh? No? It's permanent enough for you. I mean, Moonglow is permanent-ish. Very-ish. Very, very-ish, that one. There are many colors which you can lose. That looks like opera. It's just on camera. It is a pretty pink, like basic PV19 kind of color in person. The camera tends to blow the colors out a little bit. Oh, I keep forgetting to do check pigments, but PV19 and PR83, and those are pretty. I would not expect these to change really. So far, so good. This one kind of puzzles me. I'm not entirely sure why. I feel like it's a bit too dark, too muted to be of real use, and the fact that it's opaque. I feel like it's a. I mean, they renamed it peach pink, so okay. But I mean, okay. It's not even peach. It's not the color. Peach is not that color. What? But even it in its former name of portrait pink, I don't feel like it's a good base color for any kind of portraiture either. It is too opaque. It is too flat, and it's kind of very muted, and I don't think people would necessarily enjoy painting with that for portraits. You kind of want your portraits to be glowy, you know, not all flat and muted and opaque. This is Queen Magenta. I'm noticing that the colors travel really like a fair amount in water, not like zooming across the page, but they don't just stay there. If the area is wet, it's gonna travel a little bit. And I couldn't find any info if the paints have honey in them, oxgall, that kind of stuff. I tried, but I couldn't really find anything, so I'm not entirely sure, but it's possible that they use some sort of dispersant in there. Maybe oxgall, maybe a synthetic one. I think I'd like that color if it was a bit more intense. It looks a bit better on camera. It looks a bit more saturated. In person, it's kind of really... It's a bit like a sand color. This one is Purple Lake. It is another PV19 color. This goes to show again that PV19 comes in so many different variants. It almost reminds me of a kind of a closer to PV55 kind of color. You know, those muted, more purple. It's still a pinkish purple, but it's much closer to a purple than other colors in the PV19 range. Okay, tea break. Forgetting my tea. Today's tea is Black Earl Grey. Oh my gosh, so they're old enough that I'm getting a lot of binder. Even on the colors that technically don't separate. They've probably sat there for so long that even a pretty homogeneous color saw some separation happen. I don't know what's the story behind the place that had most of these. But it's like it seems to be a teeny tiny shop that's focused on all sorts of games and crafts for younger people, kids, you know. And I think they had the Aquafine range because it's affordable and it's quite non-toxic. It's a good match. But they're just about the only place locally that I could find these. And I know that I can find them online, like at Jackson's and whatnot, but I know I've mentioned it, but ordering from Jackson's at the moment is not necessarily very fun because of the customs and being consistently flagged at customs. Yeah. You can tell that some of these I've perhaps put a bit too much water because the way the water creeps back along the tape. Try to be a bit more mindful. I need to consider unsubscribing to DaVinci's email newsletter. Every time they launch a new color, it takes 3 microseconds for me to seriously think. Did they launch a new one just now? I'll have to go look at it. Look at the color. Yes, a revamped Denise Greens. What's new about it? I don't remember what the original one. Though I'm a bit sad the formulation doesn't include... Yeah, it was... Wasn't it something like PY 129 and PB 60? Like Indanthrone blue and Azamothine yellow. Green. I stopped ordering from UK for the same reasons. Yeah, it's... I feel like anything that comes from outside of the country now, regardless of the country of origin, they kind of pay extra attention to everything at the border, and yeah, it's a bit unpleasant, to say the very least. Pre-wet this? I think I did, but it doesn't feel like I did. So this color, this is ultramarine pink. It is more of a weak color. It is a bit like a purple potter's pink in a way. And now for the tube part of this one. That's one of the things that I'm a bit not sure of what to do. I'm tempted to pour the whole tube in a little container, mix it up, and then paint my swatch. Otto! Hey! Hi! What do you guys think? Should I pour the whole tube in a little plastic container and then mix it? And then I can let it dry in the little container. Or I could pour it all out on a mixing area, mix it, and then put it into pans. Perhaps that would be more... Do it! You have to say it with a Palpatine voice. Do it! I don't know how we say it, but whenever I read anyone say, like, do it, that's what I think of. Everything fell down. So I'm just gonna clear the space a little bit for this. Read the... What's in here? I need to go grab a few extra things, so I'll be right back. up. All right, sorry. Grabbed a few things. So I have these. I used to use these for when I was making paints. I have a sort of palette knife, a little mixing spatula thingy. I think that should be good. New PB16 PR 101 PY83. Does it look the same? Also, yeah, I agree. Why? Post-COVID shipping is killing me. It got to be a bit better, but now with the tariffs. It was a very good nap. Oh, that's great news. Oh my gosh, finally. So wait, the Denise green, is it a replacement for the other color, or is it just like she has 2 greens available from Da Vinci now? Grab a bit of rubbing alcohol so I can quickly clean up the containers before putting paint in them. Replacement, huh? I wonder why. I'm glad I did. This is extra dusty. Ow. Ah. Sorry. I think DV is temporarily, permanently out of PY 129. What? Unbearable. It is such a nice color. What? Oh. I gotta look into this though. I gotta remember to check if it's being discontinued or what. From last I've seen, it was not threatened in any way, shape, or form, but it could be a matter of their own personal fournisseur. What's a fournisseur? Anyway, the company that gives them their stock of PY 129, they might not be able, supplier might not be able to supply anymore. I actually wrote them asking whether the pigment was being discontinued a few months ago, and they said no, but they didn't have any supply at the moment. Okay. I'm gonna become a villain. Why? Okay, are we ready? Are we ready for this experiment? I am. So I panic bought all 6 tubes of 8 ml. Ah! I mean, that's great. I've always wanted to do this, to be honest. Are we ready? You gotta make the sound effects, right? I swear I'm a grown up. This is so satisfying. Oh my gosh. It's dead. Thank you for your wonderful services, ultramarine pink tube. I keep my empty tubes. My idea is that one day I might turn them all into Christmas ornaments. But that's pretty, like, I think that the... Not a fan of that sound effects. Aww. It is quite a stiff mixture. I don't know if you can see, but it requires a substantial amount of strength to fully mix. A bit like, you know, if you put Nutella in the fridge, perhaps, or it's the bottom of the jar and it's the part that the oil has mostly floated away from. If your supplier can't supply you, we should send him a message. Look, it's the small things that makes life worthwhile. For you, it may be fart noises, but agreed. Squeezing the hell out of the tube looks intensely satisfying. Yeah, it's very like... Eh. What's the consistency reminds me of? It's really, really thick and like sticky. But I'm noticing that it's a bit more homogeneous. When I first started mixing it, it didn't look like it, but part of it was perhaps a bit less well mixed. So hopefully this is gonna, you know, turn out fairly nice for us. I know I brought some pans. I was obsessing so much about the knee screens that I missed the context. Remember watching The Sopranos? I was obsessing so much about the knee screens that I missed. It's weird. So when I first watched it, it was very separated, and it was not like the right hue for that specific color. And I was wondering if, for the sake of the comparison chart, if I should empty the whole tube, remix it, and then paint from that to see if it's indeed a completely different color. Does that make sense? That's the ultramarine pink. No offense, Nutella. I'll still make a pan of it just to see what's up. But yeah, it's very dense. What I can do is I'll set that one pan to dry. I can keep that like this for the time it takes for this to dry to see how it does, and I'll see. Oh no, did I send Otto away with my fart noises? Sorry. That's the one that I want to find a pure looking. And now if I want to swatch it though, I make a big old mess of everything, but then I'm like, how am I supposed to keep doing what I was doing before? Not a fan of the sound effects. Aw. Why not? Why not? Don't answer. That's a rhetorical. That's fine. It's fine. That's the one thing I wonder about the auto, is that I tend to make a lot of weird sound effects when I'm like in person, so might take me a moment if we ever meet to get used to not make too many weird sound effects. Ah, I have purple all over me. Well, it's pink, but it looks purple. I think it's gonna paint purple. Dripping everywhere. These are not the same colors at all. I don't get it. Like, if this was a different purple, I'd be fine with it, because I like it as a purple, but it's definitely not the same color. I swear a lot in oral conversations, so you'll probably have to get used to that too. So what would be a more fitting sound effects for emptying a tube of paint then? Because I might have to do it again with the ultramarine violet. Because that one was also quite stiff and separated, so I have more jars. Maybe the cobalt violet too. Maybe a deflating balloon. But isn't that the same kind of noise as a fart noise though? It's a very similar sound effect, isn't it? This one is PV15. Tube looks like ultramarine violet. Yes, seriously. And then I'm gonna swatch the actual ultramarine violet, and it's gonna be just a much deeper violet. So that the tube of ultramarine pink kind of looks like a mix of ultramarine pink and ultramarine violet. It's really weird. Clue! Hello! I arrived right at the fart chat moment. Trying to find another. What about someone yelling? Will that be a proper sound effect? Ah! Ah! Or circus music? Or maybe 2001 Space Odyssey? Dun, 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 dun. Hey, a bubble burst at the same time. That's good. Everybody farts sometimes. I mean, biology tells us that every organic being, quote unquote, farts. So we can, sorry for being so uptight. The sound effects just all of them. Aw. It's not torture of a tube of paint. I'm liberating the paint. But no, the paint is being freed, so it should be happy. Freedom! There we go. Yep, that one I will see about keeping it in the container as much as possible. Not all of them, just the fart sounds. Okay, so the terrible trying to make music and all of that, that's fine. I am all wrinkly. Wrinkly, wrinkly, wrinkly. Okay. The paint is going into a pot because it had sat on a shelf for quite some time. And as a result of that, it tends to be a bit separated and a bit, not the proper, like, oh, it is so stiff. That one is even stiffer than the other one. Look at that. It's insanely stiff. It's almost like, you know, heavy body acrylic. Like purple cheese whiz. So yeah, it's just as a way to kind of remix the paint. Instead of trying to mix it in the tube and make a big old mess, I was like, you know what, I have little plastic containers that I can use for that. And it's an experiment that I feel is worth making. And if I'm to make it, I should as well make it with inexpensive paint in a way. It's getting a bit softer. The 2001 A Space Odyssey, I don't know how to write it, it was very funny. Okay, thank you. I'm glad. You know the torture device, the rack. There has to be a moment on it that I don't know what it is. Which one is that? I mean, it'll be god awful after that, but wow, une fille ça. Yon. C'est toi qui fait des sons ou c'est une des filles? Moi j'entends une des filles qui rêvent de ici. And then feet tied and pulled apart. Ooh! Yeah, for that one sort of split second where it's still a very good stretch, it's gotta feel awesome. But you sort of quickly move into until presumably dismemberment. Yeah, that's the part that probably doesn't feel all that great. What's the name we have for it in to be honest, I am not that familiar with torture devices. Yep. I think it's something about écartèlement, which is a word that would basically mean that they're like tearing you apart. Saying it again for the third time. Ultramarine valid does not regret. Yeah, I mean, I'm experimenting, so I'm gonna keep a pan because I want to see how it fares as a pan. This I'm gonna keep in a jar that's gonna be sealed, and then I'll be able to perhaps adjust a little bit depending on how the pan turns out and all of that. Like I'm experimenting, but I heard you, and I'm gonna keep that in mind for sure. Like all your joints finally pops and feel normal again for like a second. Is that a sign that we're like old? I have that thought when I see cats stretch. I just finger in the other pan of paint. You know, one of the weird side effect of having excessively dry hands is that whenever you handle paint, you get your fingers automatically stained because the paint settle in all the crevices. Spec. Oh, here we are. That's ultramarine violet as a pen. Then I have some ultramarine violet here. Oh, that knot in my shoulder is finally gone. Ah, it hurts. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, it's definitely that feeling. I'm just thinking that there's like a second when the tube is happy being wrung out. I kind of wish I would be. I could be wrung out at times just to, you know, fully like crack all the back. Not crack like painfully so, but just after so much time with this spine, some bits feel really like stuck. And try stretching, and you try like moving, and more often than not, all you end up getting is a cramp in a completely different area. Oh no, it's fine, watercolorist. I appreciate it. It's good to know. And I'll be able to test it. Like, if you hadn't warned me, I might have just poured all the paint into pans right away. But since you told me, I'm gonna keep some of it in the containers just to see. And then, depending on perhaps my weather here too, there might be some factors that will come into play as well. So I'll see, but it's really good to know. I'm mold. What? Why are you mold? What's happening? Hi, Melissa. Hello. Aquafine is student grade. They're a bit like Cotman in format and presentation, but they have quite a few unusual pigments for a student range that you don't really find in other student range. And I feel like they're overall a bit better as well. Paulo! Hey, Paulo! A watercolorist is not a fan, obviously. I'm okay with them so far. I feel like, as far as student paints go, these are really, really usable. And I'm doing this sort of split chart experiment to compare the tube and the pans versions of the colors that I have. Get sort of a feel of if there's a difference between the two. Oh my gosh, these are so different. I'm really glad I mixed up the ultramarine violet, like poured it all and mixed it up, because it provides a much different color that I feel is on point for ultramarine violet, whereas this one, the pan one, looks not right. But it is supposed to be PV15 as well. This one, the tube here on the right, looks like PV15 for real. Just has how the pan for ultramarine pink is closer to the color we associate with this specific pigment. I can't hear the words "I'm old" without thinking about "I'm mold," especially after having to deal with mold. Oh no, mold on your color. Share more, share the drama. What happened? That's really interesting. To compare with the swatches I made the other time. Huh. Okay, interesting. It looks like it has some dioxazine violet in it, doesn't it? But I'm gonna swatch it in 2 colors, so we'll be able to compare it directly. So that's gonna be fun. Okay, cobalt violet hue. Is that another one that I should possibly pour in a container? Oh no, I think it's gonna be fun. It looks very carbazole. I'm gonna invent a new pasta shape. It's gonna be the carbazole. Sorry. No cooking today, unfortunately, maybe tomorrow. Ooh. I hope you will get to cook something fun. It's far more pigment than I remember from my pan of Aquafine Ultraviolet. Well, the pan or the tube, you mean? The pan one, there's definitely something off in terms of what this pigment usually delivers. The tube one is more on point. Blech. Okay. I'm 11, that's it. I started... Hey, Vesta Paints! Hello, nice to meet you. Started with a Cutman set and swapped to Delarani because the palette was smaller for travel. I have to say, I actually really like them and find them easier to re-wet use than the Cutman set. I don't know which palette of Delarani you ended up getting, of the Aquafine, but I have a similar experience to yours. I also like the first... Right from the first little palette of Aquafine that I tried, which was the little metal tin that has like 10 colors, I think. Right from that one, I immediately noticed that the paints were a lot more fun to use than the ones that I had in my Cutman set. And it's been sort of my experience with Aquafine throughout the all the reviews I've done of these paints. My only beef with them possibly is that I feel like their color selection for their palette is awful. But aside from that, I also think that they are very decent paint, and even more if you consider that these are student grade paints. So they're very, very affordable. It was like something like $4 Canadian per tube. You won't get that from any other brand, really. The pan ultramarine violet looks closer to BV16, so that's manganese violet. It does, except it doesn't have any like very visible granulation. Delaroni has a artist grade range of paints, yes. I meant from pan. My pan was hard to re-wet. Yours almost looks like... Yeah, it feels like it is, right? I have the Aquafine 12 pan set. I like the way they mix and move on the paper. Is it the little one like the white plastic palette? That palette format is so fun. I really like the feel of it. I was just a bit bummed with the colors when I tried it, because if I remember right, it has very similar yellows and blues. And I was like, you have 48 colors to choose from. Why did you give me colors that are like similar? It has been raining almost every day for almost a month, so it's very humid lately. I tried to do a custom mix and use the paint on the pan to see if I like it. They're just called Artist, I think. Like Dillaroni Artist Watercolors. Something like that. Okay. Permanent mauve, but I need new dish for... Oh. It's gonna rinse this one quick. Yes, the really flat little set. It's perfect to slip in your pocket. I don't like the two greens they supply. They are way too similar. So I don't remember what was in that one. I have a palette that is sort of the same palette, but it's Lucas paints in it, and the color selection is so it's much nicer. And I don't know, and I feel like all the brands, they kind of do that with their student set, and I wonder why. If it's something to the effect of they want you to buy more colors, but it's like, yeah, but the set, like, you don't sell empty palettes for me to add my colors in, and what am I supposed to do if I buy more colors from your range? Like, I got nowhere to put them. But yeah, hold on. Making old person noises. Whew, okay. So that's the Lucas one. So you can see it's the same little plastic palette that's very flat, but the color selection is much nicer, in my opinion, because you get two yellows that are, you know, similar but not the same. A good red, a magenta, a good cyan, a good blue, two greens, and then a bunch of earth tones and neutrals that are usable, you know. So I've held on to that one. Yeah, cobalt blue hue and ultramarine in that palette are both PB29. It's so silly. It's silly. Why? There's 48 colors in the range, and they're all the same price point, so... Oh, it's definitely a student. It's Aquarelle Studio. Lucas Aquarelle Studio, so it's definitely student grade. But they're good. They're really good. Again, like, color made in the UK, assembled in Dominican Republic, so I wonder if it's not the same deal as with the Dillaroni, because the pans here, they're also made in the UK and assembled in the Dominican Republic. So kind of the same, right? Okay, hold on. I do my custom mix and move on. After I finish my custom mix, I leave one of the colors along with the others, but only one of the colors developed a white film on top of it, and it looked like dust. So it might not be mold, though. Seriously. I've seen quite a few colors from Winsor Newton and Cotman, both pro and student grade, that would get that sort of white film on it, and I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's mold because the paint was fairly dry. Artist professional watercolor. Yeah. It is a bit of a name that makes you go like, artist professional super pigment watercolors of the best, yeah. Buy our pen. It is so separated. I mean, to have your dioxazine purple separate, these paints must have sat there for so long. Yes, the exact same palette. Those colors are much nicer. Yeah, they're a bit of an improvement. And I mean, Daily Ronnie could definitely have a very similar lineup. They have two really good magentas in there. And I haven't gotten the greens yet, but I know they have a fair amount of greens available. I have White Knights Pro or Winsor Newton. You gotta be mindful. Dull green and indigo with strange white speckle, almost like sulfate. Is that the White Knights or the Winsor Newton? Brand name paints usually have biocides. That's also very true. Ah! 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 What happened? There's a hole in the tube! No! Ah! God! Oui, c'est juste que je massageais mon tube pour mélanger la peinture, puis là, à un moment donné, je regarde mon pouce, puis il est noir. Oh non, tout vu dehors! Un blippo! Non, il fait pas beau. Emergency surgery! It's leaking! Where is it? Where is this a teeny tiny pinprick? Of course it's dioxazine violet, right? Right? Couldn't be like, I don't know, like Naples yellow or whatnot. Has to be the stainy purple. Oh my gosh. Yep. Gonna have to play the paint doctor. Trash can. I'm glad I put my apron on today. Forgot to disinfect. Oh well. We have a paint explosion, guys. Really shouldn't use that hand for alcohol. You're gonna hear me sing really unpretty notes. What the heck? Hole in the deck? No, it couldn't be like the ultramarine pink, like a very light, nice color. It had to be like... I want to bet I'm gonna run into a similar issue with like the freaking transparent turquoise of all colors, or you know, something. Okay. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape it shut first. Painter's tape. I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to see with the shine and everything, but there's a teeny tiny pinprick between the A and the Q, and it's starting to leak again. I do this first. Gonna put that aside. Ah, what? It's leaking all over. What's? There you go. You wanna go out? Have fun. Oops, sorry. Very difficult to think of a different sound effect to do with these, honestly. All right. To bring her to the rescue. This one, you can already tell, is much, much more liquid than the other ones we've seen so far. Boss? Huh? The Ghibli? Ah, it's making a big old mess, of course. This is the tube that wanted to be Jackson Pollock. I'm sorry. I forgot. It was a bit too on point, too accurate, but yeah. Are you guys that are not big fans of the sound effects, are you also not big fans of doing silly voices for your pets? Okay. Okay. But check this out. Can you guys see just how like softer it is? Like gravity works on this one. It didn't work on the other ones. And if I try mixing it, it is much creamier. Perhaps I should put together a little guillotine. You know how sometimes you have tubes that are completely dry out and you kind of have to open them, and you can either open them by cutting the end, or you can sometimes like rip off this part. I could perhaps put together like a little guillotine thingy to chop the head off my tubes. Also, I am French, so we have to do the French thing and set up a guillotine, right? Not really French, but... Or rather, I'm very, very, very... Mind you, on one side I'm very distantly French. On the other side, I'm actually French. My mom, her parents came from France. Like, she grew up here mostly, but she's technically French too. Or was. I mean, perhaps it's possible to paint just as that, but the color never showed similar behavior in the past, so that's why I think it was mold. Crimson Lake, but the tube doesn't have pigment. Oh. I mean, it's something to keep in mind, of course, but I've had Catman pans have that white film develop. It's a bit dusty, and I don't think it was from mold, but I don't know. I don't have a problem with most sound effect. The volume and pitch though. Always talk for and do silly voices for our pets. Squash the trader. It was literally leaking info. The enemy. The fingers. Dun dun dun. My mom was born in France, I think. I have like the most abysmal memory for this stuff, so I'm not sure. But I think she was born in France, and they moved here when she was 6 or 7, maybe. I do not have pets. I do not think I would do silly sounds with animals. I think I'll need to record myself when I'm petting a feral cat. My mom and my sister befriend them. Aww. That's really lovely. I do the most obnoxious voices for pets, which I'm partially mindful of, but it's at the same time it's not. I feel like it's not something that I really have a control over. I see a cat and it's too late already. Like I'm done for. But also, I can try to not subject anyone else to that consciously. But yeah, if I'm outside and there's a cat, even if there are people around that perhaps I don't know all that well or whatnot, it's insanely difficult to just not go into like full pet voice. There's one thing I do too, is I say hi to all the cats that I see. Inevitably. And sometimes I say it in English too. And this purple, it's so purple. Do you guys see just how purple it's purpling? My neighbor asked me who I'd been talking to in the garden that had a weird voice. I was like, that was just me. So I imagine my dog talks back. Yep. Absolutely relatable. That's what I was saying before I find myself making silly songs for my cats. Yeah, one of us. But we do the same here. We're like I'm not, and you probably can sort of infer that by now, but I'm absolutely not a singer. I'm not a musical person. I love music, but I'm awful at it. That will never stop me from making songs for my cats that are very lousy songs if you consider them on the scope of actual music. But it's just for me, my partner, and the cats, and the cats don't care, but we get a good laugh out of it, so all good. Sometimes the rhyme, quote unquote, of the song is the exact same word repeated a bunch of times, like in every line. So it's not. It's a good way to express out the love we have for our pets. It cannot stay inside. We're gonna go insane. So, what do you guys think? Is it the absolute worst, most staining purple that was leaking? Why, yes, of course it is. It is beautiful though. I really like it. It's kind of catching on the light weird on. Try to see if I can angle it a bit better. But it's a very nice deep purple. So that's good. I like that. I just call them Michi or Sita. My go-to is to say hi or hello in a very silly voice, and then to tell them that they are so pretty or so cute, and then to ask the cat how it's doing. And then I might say hi about 25 more times to the pet. All while the pet is either like going away or just staring at me blankly. What's happening? Why is the big thing making weird noises at me? Absolutely, pet voice is automatic and unavoidable. Can't control it, it just happens. I feel like at that point, the pet voice is a bit like a sort of defense mechanism for ourselves so that all the emotions we feel looking at the pet, like, so they don't overwhelm us and make us explode. We have to exteriorize that stuff in some way, and I feel like all the silly voices and whatnot are the best way to cope with this. These colors are beautiful. They look very slightly muted. They look very vibrant on my screen, so I don't know what's up with that, but I feel like they're quite... In person, they're varying degrees of intensity, but generally fairly vibrant. It really depends on the color. By the way, I love the jumper you're wearing. Thank you! I really like it. I'm just doing a checkup, like, I don't put... Well, of course, like every single sweater or jumper, the sleeves are like a bajillion kilometers too long, so I have to do 20 rolls for it to fit. But it's so cozy. I'm so glad the cozy weather is back. I have all my jumpers, all my sweaters on, and I'm like, wee! Like, we keep it more on the cool side inside in the winter, just so that we can wear all of our layers, like all the sweaters, all the hoodies, all the... name it. And this one is cotton yarn, but I'm experimenting. I'm gonna try some actual wool sweaters this winter. I love sweaters. I had to darn this one because it had a hole in it, so it feels extra special now. I give my dogs different accents depending on how sassy they're being. Yeah, and the cats also get their fair share of voice impressions. And all the neighbor cats that I meet outside also get their own voice, and we always make the pets talk because it's just fun. It's harmless, if anything. Like this transparent turquoise on here. This one, pale blue. Pet voice, I just go really high pitch and make all the signs to come to me. It doesn't always work, but when it does, I become the happiest person on the planet. And my heart breaks because I gotta go, oh. Ultramarine blue light. I know, a watercolorist is gonna tell me that their ultramarine blue is awful, but I had to try it, right? It's part of the whole idea of this. Okay, this one here. So that's the lineup for this sheet. I was not all that impressed by the green swatches that I saw, so that's why... Oh my gosh, we're a bit over. That's why I don't really have many of their greens. But I feel that's... as long as you have enough yellows and blues, you can sort of mix your... The ultramarine deep was very chalky and opaque. Was it the pan or the tube? You will swatch the high earthing brightly colored blues and you're gonna enjoy it. So the idea behind these is that a lot of these student grade colors have really interesting pigments to them. They're not rare pigments, they're not like anything fancy, but they're not pigments that you often find in student grade paints, where every single tube is the same price and the pans come in a bundle of 2 pans for the same price of a tube. So you have access to a very affordable range of paints. And some of them have really interesting color combos. And that got me intrigued. So that's how I got to this point. I'm probably gonna end the stream here. Would you guys prefer that I put a pin in this and finish this next weekend, or what's your opinion? I'll set up a poll. I'm going to stay. I mean, if I might. I'm not. I'm gonna end the stream because I cannot keep talking. I've been having a lot of issues with my throat and airways, so 2 hours of talking is kind of my limit. Channel is always interesting, but today's soundtrack. What soundtrack? Yeah, I can just like set this aside and take it all out next Saturday and continue. I have quite a few swatches left to do if you think about it. So yeah, I can just like keep this aside, and like I'm working on this, but it's not my priority video at the moment, so I don't mind setting it aside for a week. All right, so I will start this and get it all out for next stream, and we can also sort of take a look at how the emptied out tube paint fared over the week. But that can be something fun to come back to as well. Not a problem for me. All right. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. I will clean up. Unless your curiosity makes you want to. I'm fine. I mean, I'm curious to swatch the other colors and I'm eager to do it, but I have enough thing on my to-do list that I can sort of force myself to switch to something else and work on something else in the meantime. The paints have waited 5 years minimum, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be fine 1 extra week. I'd love to do a little test painting with these. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Maybe once I'm done swatching all of these, I'll be able to pinpoint which ones I really like. So that would be a way to get to a small painting with them. Oops, I keep hitting the table. I'm sorry. I need to figure out this camera thing too. And missing the tube tortures. Maybe that should be its own segment, like the Dr. Ev tube surgeon. Surgeon. I've also had to do dissection on dried out tubes, so all right. Well, have a good rest of your weekend, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. This was a lot of fun, and it's always even more fun to do this stuff with you guys, which is why I'm kind of set it up. And again, sorry for the people who didn't like my sound effect. That's fine. It's very hard for me not to do the sound effects, so I apologize for that, but try to keep it in mind and to think of alternatives. And there's gonna be the members only stream on Thursday. And then next Saturday, I will try to come back with this. But in the meantime, there's the Discord server you can access. There's a link in the description. And it's free, it's fun. We chat about all sorts of things and share photos of swatches and pets and all of that. And yep, have a great weekend, guys. Take care. And again, thank you so much. Oh wait, no, take cake. I forgot, take cake. Don't forget to take cake. Bye.